What's up guys, my name is Darren Tang, professional bowler on the PBA Tour, Storm staffer. This is your monthly bag update for September where we show you how to build the best bag possible. At the top of the bag in slot number 1, we usually have a strong asymmetric piece, something that's gonna blend out flatness of the pattern when we're bowling tournaments. We have Eternity Pie today. We're gonna take it all the way back to practice. I like to break the lanes down. You need a ball that flares. So that's aka a strong ball, usually asymmetric, preferably a stronger cover, preferably surface. Now I don't have surface on this right now because we're just bowling on a house shot, but we're going to talk a little bit about why do we want this to be the first ball out of the bag. Typically, I'm throwing this ball, trying to carve up the lanes, and you never want to try to play where you're intending on starting when the lights turn on, because the more shots you throw down the lane, the faster you make them change. So now I'm throwing balls to the right of where I'm starting. Maybe an arrow, 2 to 3 boards further right. As long as it's further right, you're building up that wall. And this is what my first slot is usually used for. You build that wall, and then we can move a little bit off of that. And now we have a little bit of room to the left and a little bit of room to the right because we created that wall. After practice is winding down, you get down to like 3 or 4 minutes left. Now you're moving into where you want to get lined up. You're trying to find the difference between the lanes. And then from there, you decide what you're gonna throw. Slot number 1, big asymmetric ball. For me right now, it's Eternity Pie. Other options in the past, Reality, Gem. If you guys don't have Eternity Pie, those are really good options. Also, Proton Physics has been recently discontinued. Supernova fits that slot as well, and that's gonna be slot number 1. Now, the top of the bag is kind of a hybrid. It's hard to say slot 1 versus 2, but in 2, I'm gonna put the urethane ball. What goes through my mind after I'm done with practice, I broke the lanes down. I'm obviously trying this. Pitch black, urethane. I'm gonna be thinking about, is my ball reading early enough? Is this ball going through the pins the right way? Because if it is, and I broke the lanes down myself, I'm probably gonna have a lot of room to hit the pocket. Now, the biggest thing with urethane balls is it gonna strike? Now, when we get out there, we throw a few shots. We're just gonna throw one right here. I haven't thrown this one down the lane yet today, so we're gonna make a couple of adjustments just to see if we can get this thing to work. That was the first shot out of the bag. With the urethane ball, it almost always hooks. I don't want to say an arrow, but it feels like an arrow more than what it should. After we get some oil in the cover, it'll be a little closer. You're gonna usually have to move a couple more back to the right. It usually doesn't do that big swooping hooking motion the second time. So we're gonna stay in the same spot and see what happens. There we have much less. It's a pretty big difference. This being a house shot, I'm probably not gonna throw urethane just because we've got plenty of room to miss. The front of the lane hook's plenty. It's gonna get our balls going forward the way we need to. Usually on the flatter stuff, we're gonna throw pitch black because we're trying to get our ball tumbling faster. In slot number 2, or I guess hybrid 1-2, for the fresh, you know, number 2 is gonna be pitch black. For me personally, could also go fast pitch, your traditional urethane ball. So I have another ball here. If you don't have a urethane ball, this could be not comparable, but it could fit that slot. It's got low differential. It is an asymmetric ball, but that lower diff is what makes it similar to a urethane ball. If you hit it with a lot more surface, that brings it even closer to that. No reactive ball is ever going to mimic a urethane ball, but if you don't like to throw urethane, I do believe this is a really good option. That lower diff helps it stay on line a long time. That's what pitch blacks and fast pitches we have are known for. They have really high RGs, just to keep them on line. And then that cover, that urethane cover stock is gonna bring them a little closer. If you don't like throwing urethane or you don't have one, Tour Dynamics is gonna be a really good option for the fresh. I recommend drilling them a little stronger if you wanna use them for the fresh. Use a lot of surface. This one I've had a lot of success with already. It's kind of tough. You know, I really want to keep both in the bag, and a player like myself usually will, kind of depending on what we're bowling on, because I like to have options on the fresh. And typically I'm throwing the same bowling balls down the stretch, so I don't need to think too much about that. I can't really say a whole lot more about that ball. It's been amazing. So Tour Dynamics, while being very different, it's just another substitution for slot 1 or slot 2 in the fresh. Now slot 3, we're moving into the transition balls. For me, I have Summit in the middle of the bag. Strong cover, strong symmetric ball. We don't really have anything much stronger than this at the moment, other than this being a hybrid. If it was a solid, that would definitely be the strongest symmetric piece that we have in the bag. But as the lanes start to get chopped up, usually going into balls like this. Could even be thrown on the fresh, but for the sake of filling slots, this is gonna be our slot 3 transition ball. Now, if you're new to bowling and you're a little confused as to what I mean by strong or weak, I'm talking about when my ball's hooking. Because any ball can hook X number of boards given the correct circumstances. Because lanes always change, and bowling balls are made to fit those different times and places. So, when I say strong, I mean early. I don't mean number of boards covered. As you're gonna see, our weaker bowling balls probably cover some more ground today just because they're hooking as much as they are. And on other days, those weak balls might go all the way down the lane, 60 feet. Summit, really strong in the mid lane, reads the fronts pretty good. Definitely more continuous in that slot than I would think for a ball that strong, but given the repertoire, like a core, basically a modified Marvel core. That was one of the greatest cores that I've personally ever thrown. A great ball to throw across a lot of different patterns in a lot of different situations. So if you don't have a Summit and you need some other options, Phase 2 was a really big one for me in the past. I always had to have one. A Summit is kind of taking that spot right now. On the Roto side, TNT, also a really strong, solid, symmetric bowling ball. Another good replacement in the middle of the bag. All right, for slot number 4, again, we're thinking about transition. I've got Virtual Energy Blackout. This ball has been really good for me lately. Asymmetric ball, we're going back up with the core strength, but we're coming down a little bit with the cover stock. We got REX on this one. It's gonna be a little cleaner. This one provides a cleaner round shape, so maybe a little bit better when they're flat. The cleanliness to get through that front part of the lane, and then the roundness to not overreact when it sees friction. Balls missed all day, by the way. We have, again, kind of a cleaner cover in REX, and then we got the stronger Virtual Energy Block retro ball, one of my favorite balls of all time, so had to throw this ball. I definitely recommend a little bit of surface. I like to throw these types of balls on the cliff. You know, a little wet dry, a little too much oil in the middle of the lane, too much friction to the right. That's where that Asym comes into play. Kind of picks up in the oil, wants to blend off it when it gets to the friction, hopefully. And then we got the cleaner cover to get to the fronts, because typically when they get cliff, they're getting chopped up in the front of the lane. And you need something to get through that. Get through the mud, the dirt. I feel like I'm on a 38 bagger with this ball. Slot number 4 is a really tricky one because we have a lot of options in terms of cleaner asymmetric bowling balls. If you don't have the Virtual Energy Blackout, we've got balls like Clone, Eternity, Infinite Physics, you know, all of course doing slightly different things, but fit that similar gap. Now here in slot number 5, we have Zen Gold Label. Now it's another kind of transition type ball. I'm very heavy in the middle of the bag right now in terms of strength. I don't have very many weak bowling balls in the bag at the moment. Zen Gold Label is gonna fit the middle of the bag pretty well because it's another strong symmetric piece. A decently strong cover, so it's gonna come interchangeably with the Virtual Energy Blackout, Zen Gold Label, kind of the 1-2 punch for later in the block. Now at this point, it's more of a shapes game. What kind of shape am I looking for? If I want that clean, smooth, continuous look, I'm gonna go Blackout. But if I need something, and in this case, my Gold Label, a little stronger, kind of forward faster, but I want to play a little straighter, this is going to be my option. Now with how much stronger my Gold Label is drilled than my Blackout, I kind of play it for kind of a ball up almost, shape-wise, but the ball itself should be a ball down. But when it comes to layouts, that just goes to show how versatile you can be in creating the shapes that you want to fit the bag the way you want. That's why we never move right. But anyways, in that slot, we got balls like Roto Grip Duo, Phase 5s from Storm, Fate as well. My previous 1-2 punch was Phase 2 and Zen. Now it's Summit Gold Label. I'm glad that we have pieces kind of take over that spot and move forward with it. Now in the last slot in the bag, I like to have something clean. Hustle M&M for me right now. Typically in the past, I'd like something like IQ Ruby, High Road Pearl. With all the different balls I have right now, it's kind of tough to directly replace what I had in the past. So now it's just kind of a modified mix and match type deal. But it's tough to do when you got all these pretty good bowling balls and you don't really know how to fill the gaps. So this Hustle M&M's got a stronger layout, just to bring it a little closer to the rest of the bowling balls, not be too weak. So it is a low differential bowling ball, kind of a mid RG, which means it's weak. It's gonna wanna stay on line. It's got a weaker cover. It's gonna get down there. So I drilled it stronger so that it wouldn't go too far down the lane, be too sideways, because we're never really looking for that hockey stick motion. We always want smooth, controllable. As long as it's reading the lane the correct way front to back, that's all that's important. is also basically an entry-level ball, a bang for your buck type deal. A lot of professionals have thrown this ball. This ball's won a TOC, a Tournament of Champions. Not this one in particular, but the Hustle Inc., I believe. So very cost effective, great for entry level, great for at the highest level. So again, if you guys don't have a Hustle M&M, if you have any other kind of hustle, you got a high road, some kind of IQ, I feel like that fits that gap pretty well. You know, low RG, low diff, or if you want to go for the cleaner, more flare option, that's going to be the high road, but low RG, low diff, hustle or IQ, and then clean bang, high road balls. All right, so a quick recap on the bag top to bottom. Slot 1, we're gonna have Eternity Pie, also Pitch Black or Tour Dynamics. You know, that's gonna fit slots 1 or 2. You pick 2 of the balls and you run with it. Slot number 3, we're gonna have Summit or Phase 2, something strong, something symmetric. Slot number 4, I'm gonna have the Virtual Energy Blackout. I like to have that cleaner Asym ball in there just to make sure I'm kinda chopping through that transition. Slot number 5, I'm gonna have a clean symmetric bowling ball. It's gonna be Zen Gold labeled, Duo, balls of that nature. And then slot number 6, it's gonna be the ball that I'm probably gonna be playing furthest left with. Cleaner hustle balls, high roads, IQ pearls, things like that. I hope this video helped you guys understand how to build an arsenal a little bit better. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in next month for the next bag update.